happening, citizens of the Rock Nation? This is James Maresco once again with your latest State of the Nation address. And as I said at the end of my Fleetwood Mac update, this is something I've alluded to many times, especially on Twitter, something I think about a lot, as may you, fellow rock fans. And that's the issue of when you go to a concert, how much of what you're hearing is actually live. Now, I'm sure, at least in theory, everybody goes to a concert, they consider it a live event. We have studio albums, we have live albums, we have DVDs, all of this stuff in terms of songs being presented to us, but more of a pre-produced, pre-packaged, it already happened kind of presentation, if you will. So when we go to a concert, when we pay 60, 70, God knows how much money to buy a seat and see a concert, I don't know about you, but I'm usually there with the belief that what I'm hearing is going to be happening right in front of my eyes. Maybe a bad note, vocally or instrumentally. Maybe something goes a little wrong. It's part of the live experience. And that's at least how I feel. But nowadays, especially in the age of technology and in the age of a hurting music business, as well as probably other things, there's a lot of bells and whistles and tricks, if you will, being implemented in rock concerts. And to be honest with you, they don't necessarily leave me very happy. So I'll go through those major things. The major three, if you will, are backing vocals being piped in, if you will, auto-tune, and the worst offense of all, in my opinion, piping in lead vocals. All of these things are done to some extent or another in the music business, no denying that, no one can. But to what extent, who, where, when? Are we talking about Justin Bieber, or are we talking about Journey? That's the big difference, too. I mean, I hate to say it, but I feel like us rockers maybe expect some trickery a little bit more from the younger generation of performers. Maybe it's just the industry they grew up in and have worked in. But that stuff, personally, I want it live. For instance, background vocals. When you go to see a band, especially a band like, I don't know, maybe a Def Leppard or something, where they're really known for these lush, layered-on vocals, I don't know about you, I speak for myself, but I can accept that it might not sound as complex or as layered as the record. That's the record. I'm in a venue. If you have 3, 4, sometimes even 3, 4, 5, sometimes even 6 well-trained vocalists who really can pull off harmonies, that should still sound pretty damn good. All right, maybe it doesn't have the 10, 12 tracks like the record, but it should still sound good. They're singing the same notes. They're playing the same tempos for the most part. It should work for me. So I would say I really don't understand I shouldn't say I don't understand the need for it, but I don't understand why it's that big of a deal if you just rely on your live talent, and why you really need to fill in backing vocals. But I'll admit, even for me, as much as I dislike it, in the big picture, if that's all the band's doing, then I could bite my tongue. Because, for instance, another issue these days, and this is where it really starts, getting me uneasy, is auto-tune. Now, many people, especially the younger generation, they know auto-tune by people like T-Pain and Cher when she did that Do You Believe in Love song. It gives a rather robotic tone to the voice. However, when done properly, it can be implemented in the live studio to help correct a vocalist who's being pitchy. So you could have a singer, especially when it comes to high notes for our favorite rock singers, who's missing notes, constantly flat, but what you're hearing sounds perfectly and perfect, plain and simply. Why? Because a computer is taking their notes, adjusting them as need be, and then sending it out to you. Sounds a little deceptive to me. I don't know about your opinion, but it sounds deceptive to me. The only saving grace, and I have seen videos where this is the case. The only saving grace with auto-tune is that if it's needed to too much of a drastic extent, it becomes obvious because you start to hear this robotic sound as it makes the adjustments. But still, if you have the talent, and many, if not most, of our favorite rockers have the talent, you should be able to, the vast majority of the time, sing the note right. You have a bum note, it's live. Especially if it's a classic band. They're older. We get it. We understand. Why do you need to use computers to augment your voice? That's just my opinion. I don't know how you feel. And then finally, to me, even if you want to argue about the backing vocals and somewhat the auto-tune, to me, the worst offense, and this has been done, it's gone on record, that Journey did it back with Steve Augeri. I'm talking about full-out, verbatim, piping in lead vocals. Lead guy standing there, just moving his mouth, making it look like he's singing, and there's a tape playing. I mean, quite frankly, you can go to Amazon as I see it, buy some CD for $10 to $15, play that, time and time again, one price. What's the difference? For instance, when I saw The Who perform Quadrophenia in February, I will be honest, with the utmost respect and love for the man, Roger Daltrey's voice has suffered a bit over the years. Duh. I mean, if you saw the 12-12-12 concert, it's not what it was. But you know what? He was out there. He was live. He was busting his butt trying to hit those notes. And hey, anybody who had a problem with it, folks, it's 2013. We're not in the 70s anymore. This is the 2013 Who presentation of Quadrophenia. And you know what? It didn't bother me. I felt somewhat proud for the guy that he was still out there giving it all he got. In the end, I truly believe everything was live. The only thing that was clearly piped in per se, and it was even comedic because it was so apparent, was the scream for Won't Get Fooled Again. But I'll give him a pass on that because it was late in the show and he was busting his butt throughout the whole concert. But what really starts to get me, though, from that is how it's one of those things where the deception behind it, it comes to a point where you never really know what they're doing or not. Unless something goes wrong or someone outs them, at least I find I'll go to a concert and the whole time I'll be thinking, is that live? Is that not? And in some cases, I feel bad for the guys that really have their abilities and really are getting it done night after night live, because the industry tricks are somewhat, maybe I could say, tainting their reputation. Like, I'll be honest, a few weeks ago, I saw the band Kix. If you know them, they're a band from the late 80s. They had a big album, Blow My Fuse, with the ballad Don't Close Your Eyes. Very much AC/DC type vocals. Steve Whiteman, the singer, sounded incredible. And while now I firmly do believe that he was live, I couldn't help stand there thinking, come on, is that real or is that a tape? And this was a little club. Now, I want to stress, I'm not insinuating, I'm not accusing Steve Whiteman of anything. Once again, I've looked at YouTube videos, whatnot. I have come to believe, I'm 99% sure he was live. But if anything, the fact that now I can't help but question, at least this is how I feel, you don't know what's real, what's fake. You know, Queen said, is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? And it drives me insane. Once again, you're older, it's live, it's a different set of circumstances. Will it really kill everyone if it doesn't sound exactly like the record? It's not the record. And it just drives me insane. I mean, bands like Journey, as I said, it was proven around 2005. There's a whole thing online. A guy who worked with one of those European festivals straight out said, yeah, we heard the feed. Steve Augeri sounded like crap. We heard the feed going out to the speakers. He sounded incredible. What was going on? And I just get worried more and more that this is becoming apparent. I mean, and there's always rumors. You know, Joe Elliott is piping it in. He isn't. You know, you see it in concert. Once again, I'm not accusing. I'm speaking of rumors that go around. And I'll say it right now. If you still have your abilities, you could still get it done. Hats off to you. I'm sorry that other people are tainted of you, but at least for people like me, it puts a sour taste in my mouth. And you can ask anybody that knows me, there's nothing I like more than a rock concert. I'm sure anybody who follows me on Twitter knows that. So, but with all of that said, I encourage you. You can email me at rocknationradio@verizon.net. Hit me up on Twitter at rocknationradio. Let me know your opinion. Does this bother you as much? Are you so content or so set on having it sound like the record that you don't mind if all these elements are being piped in? Or do you say, I spent my $80, I want it live? If it's off, it's live. What's your opinion? I would love to find out. This is something that really bugs me, and I wanted to take this opportunity to really address it thoroughly and, lay everything out there in more of a free-form fashion. Stay tuned for the next Rock Nation State of the Nation address, where I give my take on the brand new Whitesnake DVD made in Japan.